Palantir's outspoken co-founder Joe Lonsdale shares his thoughts on Palantir on CNBC, and this seems to be more evidence, at least in his opinion, of better performance for one of Palantir's major markets, the United States government, regardless of the talks about cost cutting. And one of the major focuses was disruption around defense and the whole business, alongside SpaceX and the recent talks too about Anduril's funding round. So basically, government appears to be a bright spot in Joe's mind where there is a breakthrough and opportunities for Palantir to take advantage of. And no doubt, a lot of Doge talk is out in the news, and when asked about government waste, he specifically brings up Palantir and Anduril as companies that will do better in this kind of environment. The government being focused on time and money in a much more restrained environment will force them to be, more efficient, which allows for opportunities to be identified, as well as competition to allow the best solutions, hopefully like Palantir and Anduril, getting opportunities not reliant on crony insider legacy shoo-ins. So of course, this is all his opinion, and we'll see if things actually play out positively. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because alongside Palantir's leadership, they are seeing this shakeup as more opportunity and not necessarily as fear to come along. We know about all their non-defense government work revolving around different aspects from the FAA to NIH to even the VA system. Now, maybe there is a risk of cutting some opportunities where Palantir already exists, but the idea of creating a more competitive environment that Palantir has already been pushing themselves means they're better prepared than, say, legacy companies that might have just scooped up contracts before just because of their relationship and legacy reputation versus their actual performance. And this doesn't necessarily mean Palantir is a shoo-in for these or the new revamped opportunities, but when comparing someone who's more prepared and has operated like that, Palantir has been using this as their MO, even though they technically have already become incumbents themselves in certain aspects of the government. And bring up Anduril too in the conversation, referencing Palantir paving the way for them to break in, especially around hardware and defense. It can even be argued Palantir paved the way for themselves into this new environment. Shyam Sankar has been very outspoken for the monopsony of the Pentagon and how everyone was catering to the single buyer and their way of doing things. That slogan, the customer is always right, definitely doesn't apply, especially if you're on the leading edge here, trying to expose them to the best solutions. Being able to experience new technology like Palantir at the time literally required them to sue the army in order to have more opportunities and competitive environments open up. But with this new administration, regardless of your politics, of course, seems to be bringing a more advantageous environment from Palantir's perspective to be considered for these projects around efficiency, defense, and non-defense wise when it comes to the US government. And just note, dollars may get smaller for certain budgets for different departments in the government as customers, and we'll see over time during this administration what the overall effect is, but confidence by management and previous co-founders and all those people around seems to point to a bright future for the US government business. Still mind blown by that 45% US government growth from last earnings, where Karp talked about the lumpiness in the long past, and I'm sure they're excited about this part of the lumpiness, and hopefully it's only the beginning. But curious to know your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next video.